Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 23, the spectacle of the Leela of Guru and disciple. But before that, let us do the Namasmaran, followed by chapter number 23, the spectacle of the Leela of Guru and disciple. And we will conclude chapter number 23 with the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम श्री साई नाथाय नमः। 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 Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 23. I bow down to Shri Ganesh. I bow down to Shri Saraswati. I bow down to the Guru. I bow down to the family deity. I bow down to Shri Sita Ramachandra. I bow down to Shri Sadguru Sai Nath. In essence, man is beyond the three gunas, but deluded by Maya, he forgets his truth, which is pure consciousness. Bliss state and considered himself to be the body. Then, because of the pride of body, he believes in doership, enjoyership. He gets entangled in miseries, one after the other, and finds no way to escape. A loving and devoted attachment to the Guru's feet is the way to ward off the endless miseries. Sai Shri Rang is a great actor and dyes the devotees in his own hues. We consider him as an avatar since he had all the attributes of one, but he himself always said, I am a slave at the feet of Allah. In spite of being an avatar himself, he lived like an ordinary man of the world, an example to others to come from to their castes and creeds. He did not compare himself to anyone and did not allow anyone to do so. Humility is a true ornament of one who considers the whole universe filled with God. He did not despise anyone nor considered anyone insignificant. For him, each and every object was God. He saw pure consciousness in all. He never said, I am God, but I am a humble servant of God. I always remember God. He regularly chanted, God is the owner, Allah Malik. We cannot know the state of any saint or his tradition from how he behaves and what he eats. He is beyond all this. By the grace of all that all merciful Lord, the obliging saints manifest on this earth to uplift the movable and immovable beings. Only a store of merit in the previous life will create an interest and love for listening to the stories of saints to obtain happiness and contentment. Once a sadhak of yoga, accompanied by Chandorkar, arrived at the masjid to have Baba's darshan. He had studied Patanjali's Yoga Shastra and others in their entirety, but his experience, strangely enough, was such that he could not attain samadhi even for a moment. Maharaj Sai is the Lord of Yoga. If he graces me, my doubts will be resolved and I will definitely attain samadhi. With this desire in his mind, he when he was taking Sai's darshan, he saw him seated eating bhakri with onion. Seeing him with a stale bhakri and dried onion held in front of his mouth, a strong doubt arose. How can he clear my doubts? When such a notion arose in his mind, Sai Maharaj, the knower of all hearts, said, Nana, only those who can digest the onion should eat it. One who has the capacity to digest, he can eat onions safely. Hearing this, the yogi was startled and from within completely surrendered with full faith. So be it. Let the sadhak of yoga came and sat near Baba without any doubt in mind. When Baba came preoccupied his seat, he prudently asked questions, got his doubts cleared, and was satisfied. After getting Udi and blessing, he returned with a happy mind. There are many such stories. If listened to with faith and devotion, they have the power to remove sorrow, greed, and other overwhelming calamities of the devotee immediately. A pig finds a small puddle filled with tremendously foul smelling water and overwhelming pleasure. The Atman of a human mind and the parrot have the same thing in common. One is bound in the body while the other is imprisoned in the cage. Though the parrot has lost its freedom, it's quite happy in its captivity. The parrot is like the frog in the well. Its happiness is within the cage. A man caught in the web of desire is like a parrot who's forgotten the wonders of freedom. How beautiful is my cage and the golden bar for swinging in it. Even if I hang upside down, I'm fine if my foot does not slip. But outside, one has to wash one's hands of the happiness of eating pomegranate seeds and delicious red chilies. I will myself be responsible for losing the pleasures. When the opportune time comes for the parrot, this improbable occurs that gives it a loving awakening by a slap and applies the collyrium of knowledge to its eyes. The awakening by the Shakti path causes the eyes to open and it gets out of the cage. It uses wings to fly. Who will then control it? The vast universe is before him. There are plenty of orchards of pomegranates and goas. The sky is free for him to fly wherever he desires, rejoicing in his freedom. Similar is the state of this Atman when he gets God's grace and a guru. With the help of both, he gets release and experiences the joys of freedom. Now, all you devoted listeners become attentive and listen for some moments to an interesting story of pure love. In the last chapter, Baba showed the miracle by sending Shama with Mirkar on, on his tour to Chithali. Sai, knowing the future about the trouble from a snake, alerted Mirkar to give him a timely warning about the difficulty. Not only did he warn him, but provided him the means to avert the danger by forcing Shama's company, in spite of his disinclination, and protected Mirkar from danger. Baba, ever ready for the welfare of his devotees, saved Bala Sahib Mirkar from the calamity and gave him a wonderful experience. Compared to that, as C. Sharma stated, he was unexpectedly bitten by a snake and there was no hope for his life. Baba saved him from that. This is also a Leela of Baba. I shall narrate it first to the listeners. Though a snake bitten, see what remedy was used. Around 7 o'clock, a snake suddenly bit the small finger of Shama and that part became fully poisoned. The pain was excruciating and life seemed ebbing out. Madhavra was frightened and worried. His body turned red. Friends and relations gathered and said, Let us go to Viroba, losing hope of his survival. Nimonkar also came forward and said that he should take Udi and go. But Madhavrao ran to the masjid. See what Baba did. No sooner than Baba saw him see Baba's Leela, he started profusely abusing and did not permit him to come up. Do not climb up, while priest, don't you dare to climb. Get out, get down, was the long drawn shout. Baba got angry beyond imagination, flaring up unnecessarily and unexpectedly. Madhavrao was amazed. Why was he being punished with these strong words? Seeing the state of affairs, Madhavrao was frightened. He could think of nothing. He sat down dejected. When even Deva was angry, Madhavrao felt scared and believed that there was no hope. When Baba repulsed him, who would not be terrified seeing the fury and dreadful behavior, hearing the assault of abusive words? He thought that it was a dreadful time. This masjid, my mother's home, I am Sai's own child. This being so, why is the mother so furious with the child today? Who can I turn to with grievance that a snake has bitten me, if not to my mother? But when herself kicks pitiable is my countenance. As a child took this to the mother, so was Madhavra to Baba. When such a relationship always existed, why should it happen this way today? When the mother kicks, the who will take care of the child? Madhavrao lost all hope of survival at that time. After some time, when Baba was composed, Madhavrao gathered courage, went up and sat. Baba said, don't forsake fortitude. Do not let any despondency enter your heart. You will get well. Do not worry. The kind fakir will take care of you. Go home and sit quietly. Do not go out of the house. Be fearless and free from anxiety. Have faith in me. Then, when he had barely reached home, Baba sent Tatia to enquire with a message. Tell him not to lie down or sleep, but move about in the house. Let him eat whatever he likes. Just follow these instructions. Baba told Kaka Sahib Dikshit that night. He felt sleepy that night. Do not allow him to sleep. So be it. By taking all these precautions, the suffering disappeared, though some burning sensation remained in the finger due to the poison. Later on, that too was cured. Such a terrible ordeal was averted. How compassionate is Mother Sai, always moved by kindness to his devotees. Do not climb up, wheel priest. Such was the strong words from Baba, and they were meant or addressed to Madhavrao? No, they were not for Madhavrao. These words were a severe command given to the poison of that snake who had bitten him. Don't you dare climb was a powerful, potent command from Sai's mouth, which stopped the spread of the poison, which was restricted to one place. Not only that, but get out, get down was the five-lettered mantra of Sai, which made poison recede immediately. There was no need of any other means, such as a person well versed in mantra or a mystic. Such was Sai, the support of his devotees. Removed calamities instantly. He did not use any incantation, nor did he use charged rice or sprinkled holy water. Then how did the poison recede? Is this not a miracle? Only the words of a saint were the measures to overcome the bite of a serpent for Madhav Rao. There is no parallel to their grace. Now, for the story indicated in the last chapter, which is interesting and marvelous, listeners should hear it with rapt attention throughout. This story is more marvelous than the one I had narrated in the previous chapter. The listeners will be told how Sai practices artfulness. Listening to these interesting stories makes the impression and stamp upon the mind of the Guru's words. The doership of all acts, good and bad or non action, will disappear. Faith will be established at the Guru's feet. In order to destroy Maya, the easiest of easy ways is to remember Sai's feet in the heart. This is the means to get salvation. The fear of worldly existence is very great. It is the Maya that is responsible for this insurgence. By listening to these stories, it will be annihilated and give permanent happiness. Once, when an epidemic of cholera spread in Shirdi, the villagers were frightened. By consensus, it was proclaimed that all communication to and fro the village be stopped. The cholera epidemic was dreadful. The villagers were frightened. People from other places were not allowed to come in. All activities came to a standstill. As long as the cholera deaths continued, it was decided not to kill any goat and not to allow any vehicle to come outside to enter the village. Everyone were called upon to obey this. Baba did not at all like this curious behavior of the villagers. According to him, these foolish ideas arose from ignorance of people. On one hand, the villagers took these decisions, and Baba, on the other hand, defeated the purpose. Listen with respect how and by what means he did that. The villagers faithfully obeyed the decision of the village elders. If anyone broke the regulation even slightly, a fine had to be paid before he was let off. Baba had no fear of fine. He was always and at all times fearless. He marched in God and was victorious over death. During these days, a cart from another village full of firewood arrived at the village border. This caused a problem, and the people began to quarrel amongst themselves. The villagers knew that there was a shortage of firewood, but disobeying that rule was improper. Therefore, everyone was agitated. They turned to the cart driver and began to send back the cart. Baba came to know about this and promptly arrived at the spot. He stood before the cart. This gave courage to the cart driver. The obstinacy of the villagers were broken and the cart was allowed inside the village border. From there, it was brought to the gate of the courtyard of the masjid. All the wood was stacked in the courtyard, but nobody dared to open their lips or make a sound. Baba's dhuni was kept burning all the 24 hours in the masjid, whether it be summer, winter, monsoon, or spring. How strange was Baba's determination! Just as the Agnihotri performed his Agnihotra, similarly, Baba's sacred dhuni remained lit in the masjid day and night. In order to keep the dhuni lit, Baba bought bundles of wood and kept them stacked against one of the walls in the courtyard. Remembering that time of the bazaar weekly day, Baba collected wood. The neighbors too had their eyes on it because of the inherent selfishness. Baba, there is no wood for the hearth, and without wood, hearth cannot be lit. He distributed wood even to those selfish hypocrites who spoke thus. By nature, the selfish and the wicked, the courtyard had no door. Therefore, they got opportunity. The needy and the cunning were the same. Baba was very obliging. His how can his greatness be described? Though he outwardly appeared severe, he was very gentle within. Indescribable is his greatness. Speech becomes humble and bows down at his feet, immerses him. He saw that the whole universe is pervaded by the Almighty. Bearing this in mind always, he never bore enmity towards anyone. He alone pervades the whole creation, all the 10 directions, in front and back. He was pained by ill will to anybody. Though perfectly detached, he behaved like an ordinary householder to set an example to people. How indescribable is the humility of this great soul. Listening to it, one is surprised and one observes love for the devotees. This is the fulfillment for his avatar. Tremendous was his love for the poor. He was very fond of children. There were thousands of examples of it which I can go on and on recounting. He never fasted nor practiced any austerities. He made no efforts to also perform the Hatha Yoga. He never had any desire to eat delicacies and ate sparingly. Going to the usual houses, he begged for coarse and dry food. These alms were his daily food. He did not crave for any particular thing. He did not pander to his tongue. He did not long for sweetmeats and was perfectly content with whatever he received or did not receive. This is how one should live. Just protect the body with the means of achieving knowledge and salvation. Be ever humble. One who has his quietude as his ornament. Why does he need necklaces and garlands? Nor does he need sandalwood or sacred ashes. nor any ritualistic puja. Sri Sai is a perfect Brahmin. This apologue is educative and purifying, which gives the importance to devotion. They who listen to it with attention will be released from the cycle of birth and death. More and more, as the devoted listener get attached, then Sai's treasure house opens. Those who are critical and are unable to understand, but the innocent and unprejudiced devotees can lovingly enjoy. Now, to continue with another story, if listeners concentrate, it will inspire love and tears of joy will fill their hearts. How wonderful was Baba's intelligence and sagacity and his ways and means. One who knows the truth and about true devotion gets experiences always. This Sai Satcharithra is like a drinking nectar. Listen to it attentively, concentrating on the feet of the Guru. Hear the continuation with attention. This story is excellent like a delicious food. The listener should not be in a hurry to savor it. The excellence of each item should be enjoyed fully as a novelty. Enough of the story of the cart. The story about the goat is still more strange. The listeners will be amazed and the devotees of the Guru will be delighted. Once a strange thing happened. Somebody brought a goat which looked feeble and one point of death. People came to see it. Sai Mauli protected those who had no owner or savior, those afflicted with disease or rejected or vexed found a haven at the masjid. Back then, at the time, Baba was nearby. Baba said, offer it as a sacrifice. Kill it with one stroke. How important Bed Baba was. His usual seat was on the right hand of Baba. Baba smoked the chillam only after Bade Baba had partaken it. Bade Baba was that person without whom Baba did not take a step. If he did not eat anything, Baba did not partake food. Once at the Deepavali festival, when all delicacies had been served and the people were seated at their places, Bade Baba took offense at something and left. When Bade Baba did not join, Sai Baba refused the food. And when Sai Baba himself did not eat even a morsel, how could others eat? As a result, everybody had to wait. Bade Baba was found and brought back. Then, when he joined with dinner, Baba partook of the food. Now, leave aside the present story. I feel like telling the listeners a little about Bade Baba. Do not consider it as a digression. Bade Baba was Baba's guest. At the time when food was served, he waited in the courtyard for the call to be given to him. People sat in two rows facing each other, but Baba sat at the head in the center, and the place immediately next to Baba on his left hand was reserved for Bade Baba. The food was offered as Naivedya was distributed in all the thalis. Then those thalis were arranged in rows. The diners sat in their own places. When it was time to eat, then Baba, with great respect, himself would call out in a loud voice, Bade Mia. Then he quickly came up with a bow. Why respect someone who's angry with food and in a huff without any reason? Why honor so much he who insults food? Yet this was practiced by Baba himself, and when the people gathered, sure that this was not proper to eat without the guest having joined. Baba never transgressed this code of conduct for the householder by which the difficulties of the devotees are avoided. He himself always practiced it. Fulfillment of desires and relief from calamities are obtained by worshipping the guest. The path is sure to the beset with obstacles if this is ignored. So the wise ones always followed this rule. A guest going away without food means the destruction of family, prosperity, cattle, etc. If the guest goes hungry, it is a sure invitation to disaster. Sai Samartha also gave him Bade Baba Dakshina of rupees 50 daily. Baba accompanied him 100 paces where he was going away. When that Bade Baba was the first one to be asked to kill the goat, the excuse that came from his mouth was, "Why should it be unnecessarily killed?" Madhav Rao was there. Baba, if Shama, you at least bring a knife. We will cut the goat. Go now. Madhav Rao was a faithful devotee. He went to Radha Krishna Mai and brought a big knife and placed it before Baba. Though Madhav Rao was troubled about bringing a big knife, Baba would not have been satisfied seeing him without the knife. In the meanwhile, Radha Krishna Mai learned about this matter and recalled the big knife because she felt pity. Then Madhav Rao left to get another knife. He remained in the Vada, delaying in return so that the killing would not have to be done at his hand. Then, to test Kaka's mind, Baba ordered him, "Go, bring a big knife to cut. Let the goat be freed from misery." Kaka was pure gold. Though Baba knew this fully, unless he had tested him in public, it would not have been believed. Whether gold is pure or is of a low quality, shrewd people do not have faith on spoken word till it is tested by rubbing it with a file. For the diamond to achieve its luster, it has to be beaten with an hammer. A stone has to bear the wounds of the chisel to reach the splendor of divinity. Although Kaka was a precious as talisman around his neck, how would others realize it? And Asir tests a diamond by trying it with a thread and putting it into fire. If one has doubts about the words of a saint, his efforts for achievement was unsuccessful. His words become meaningless, futile, fruitless chatter. Not even a bit of spiritual growth is gained. One who respects the words of a guru will achieve his welfare and the supreme goal of his life. But he who finds faults with them and thinks them vile, he will be ruined. One who is always ready to serve the Guru, respects and obeys the Guru's orders. He makes the Guru responsible for what is correct and incorrect in all respects. He is the servant of the Guru's orders. He does not think independently. Always obeying the orders of the Guru, he does not distinguish between good and bad. Mind should be engrossed in remembering Sai's name. The eyes should be fixed at the feet of Sai. The attitude should be a meditation on Sai. The whole being should be dedicated to Sai. Even if a moment is lost, receiving the orders and executing them, that time also cannot be tolerated. This is a strange level of awareness. Dikshit was a man of pure heart. He was truthful, courageous, unshakable as a rock in his determination. It did not even occur to him to question the righteousness of killing the goat. The innocent goat would die, its soul would be in a turmoil. His own reputation would be besmirched, and he would have committed a great sin. These thoughts had no place in the mind. Disobedience of the order was a sin here. There was no greater merit than the fostering and protection of the order. For one who believes in obeying the orders of the Guru, he gets uncommon inspiration and his natural kind heart is ready to kill. Then he went to Satyavada and brought the instrument to kill as per the order. He got himself ready to kill the goat without a hesitation. Inspiration of heroism, bravery is derived from the obedience of the Guru's order. Hardening his heart, he took hold of the weapon. He was born in a pious Brahmin family for whom ahimsa was one of his life's woes since birth. he was placed in this kind of situation, how would he proceed? He determined to undauntedly obey the Guru's orders, but his heart was palpitating and his body was soaked with perspiration. He could not hurt anyone physically or mentally or by his hard words. How could he use this weapon? This was difficult situation for those who disregard the Guru's order. There's a no alternative path. Even the earlier store of merits would remain nullified. Complete obedience to the Guru is the greatest ornament amongst all adornments, a true sign of a good disciple. Disobedience is the greatest of sins. Obey the Guru's orders without a moment of delay. One who thinks and hesitates is no better than a luckless, hornless beast. There is no need for an auspicious time to obey the order. No need to debate whether the order is good or bad and whether the order should be executed immediately or later on. The one who is wise obeys instantly. Only an unfortunate person thinks up delaying tactics. Then, tucking in his dhoti with one hand and holding up the knife in the other, he folded up the sleeve of the hand that held the knife. He came forward where the goat was. The villagers were surprised at this strange scene. They were well aware of Kaka's tender, loving nature and wondered whether kindness had disappeared. Even a Muslim non vegetarian like Fakir Baba felt pity for the goat and did not take up the weapon. Yet Kaka had got ready. It is true that the heart of an extraordinary person is harder than granite and more tender than the flower. Then he tightened his grip on a big knife, raised his hand, and said, Baba, shall I kill it? Just tell me once. Truly speaking, a weapon is held only to protect the weak, and yet it was now raised upon an innocent goat. But he dedicated his life to serve the Guru. Therefore, he had no hesitation. He wanted to kill it quickly, but pity arose in his heart, and the big knife wavered. The hand would not descend. Come on, kill now. What are you waiting for? Hearing this final order, he made a semicircular turn for an effective strike. He lifted his hand with a big knife. The last moments of the goat appeared to have arrived, but the Lord, being the protector, it received its mercy at that moment. Now he would certainly strike, seeing this mother sigh, knowing that it would be a calamity, and said, "Oh, let it be. Oh, Kaka, stop this. How cruel you are. Though you are a Brahmin, you are ready to kill. Have you not thought about this?" Hearing this, he threw aside the big knife. The young and the old were surprised. The goat's life was spared. Devotion to the Guru scaled at peak. Then Kaka, after throwing away the large knife, said, "What? Pay attention. Baba, your nectar like words are the only dharma and laws in our life. We have no other dharma. We have no shame. Obeying the Guru's order is our only creed. It is our Veda and Shastra. To completely obey the Guru's order, that is the meaning of discipleship for a disciple. This is our jewel. Disobedience is the greatest sin. We never consider the consequence of these actions, whether they give pleasure or pain. Whatever is our fate will happen. God alone takes care. We know only one thing. We should remember your name always. We see nothing but your form in our eyes and follow your very command day and night. Virtues or sin of killing or non killing is meaningless to us. Our salvation is the Sadguru's feet. Why should we think of the reason behind the order? It is our duty to obey. When the Guru's command is clear, the disciple who considers whether it is correct or not correct, proper or improper, he is degraded. I would consider him as having failed in his seva altogether. Disobeying the order of the Guru is to cause the degradation of life. Obeying the order of the Guru is the main plan of righteousness. The mind should always be at the Guru's feet, whether I live or die. We obey the order of the Guru. He alone knows the consequence of the end result. We do not know fame or calamity. We do not know selfishness or welfare of the others. We only know to perform the work stated by the Guru. This is the goal of our life. Compared to the Guru's command, the precepts and prohibitions are like fools prattling. If one's only aim and duty is to follow the Guru's command, the disciples' problems are the concern of the Guru. We are the slaves of your command. We do not think what is right or wrong. If need be, we would even sacrifice our life, but would obey the orders of the Guru. How can a naturally kind man becomes stone hearted. What a Muslim dared not to do, a Brahmin got ready to carry out. Listeners will feel perturbed, but this is the jugglery of the Sadguru. It will be understood immediately if you do take the path of obedience to the Guru. Once you surrender to him and place full faith in his feet, then his worry he worries about the disciple, and the disciple has to make no effort. There is no place for fear for him. One, once he is totally surrendered, that self confidence alone would ferry him across life. There are three kinds of disciples: the best, the middling, and the base. I will briefly describe them without too many details. Know that he is the best disciple who anticipates a guru's desire and, on realizing it, begins to carry it out without waiting for a specific order. Knowing that he is the middling disciple who obeys the guru's command to its very letter without a delay. Knowing that he is the base principle who procrastinates carrying out the Guru's command given repeatedly and commits mistakes at every step. Without the utmost renunciation and discrimination between the transitory and eternal, how can the Guru's grace be his, even though he has spent his whole life with the Guru? But God fulfills the desires of him who is inseparably attached to the feet of the Guru. He makes him steady and desireless quickly. He treats him like a relative. The spiritual goal of life, Paramatma, is certain for him who has the pure strength of faith together with the powerful strength of knowledge added to steadfast patience. Then there is no need for control of breath, ingoing and outgoing, hatha yoga, samadhi, or instruction for coming out of it. Those are difficult practices for us. The Satguru is ever ready to grant the fruits to the disciple, provided the disciple is mature enough to receive them. Actually, he waits impatiently and eagerly for imparting them. Only the faithful believers experience God with attributes. It arouses devotion in the devotees. Otherwise, others will call them figments of their imagination. Later, Baba said to Kaka, take this tin container of water in your hand. Now I will slaughter it myself and give it Sadgati. The goat was half dead as it is. Fakir Baba had timely thought of that as the Takriya was nearby. He asked Baba for his opinion if the goat should be killed at the Takriya. Under this pretext, when the goat was being taken there, it died on the way. Everyone knew that the goat's death was imminent, but at the opportune time, Baba enacted this drama. Those who surrender to the Sadguru attain oneness with Sadguru. When rock salt enters the sea for bath, can it ever come out? A living being enjoys the worldly experiences, good or bad, and God grants them to him. But Satguru is the only one who grants salvation. He is the store of all the Atmas which have oneness in him. When the Satguru is pleased, he grants us celestial perception by which the whole creation is seen in one divine vision. Hemant surrenders at Sai's feet and offers him bodily pride there. He is alert and thinks, Baba, make me humble. In the next two chapters, there will be a feast of jokes and pranks, and how Maharaj Sai played them. Listen to that marvel. Though it appears as a joke and an entertainment, it is full of wisdom. The pious devotees who analyze them will be extremely happy. May there be well being. This is the end of the 23rd chapter of the Shri Sai Satcharithra, written by the devotee Hemat Pant, impelled by the saints and virtuous people, called The Spectacle of the Leela of Guru and Disciple. This is offered to Shri Satguru Sainath. May there be auspiciousness. Now, let us conclude chapter number 23 with the Aarti. Shri Sachidananda Satguru Sainath Maharaj ki jai. Shirdi माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रमावर बाबा रमावर साई बाबा रमावर शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्रभागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा पुंडलिक जागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा याव याव अवघे जन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन साई श्रीवंदन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन तनुपने बाबा साई धाव पाव माझे आई पाव माझे आई धाव पाव माझे आई बनेलो तांगन बने गचरण दोयाति पाइन रूप तुझे प्रेमीन रंगीन अनंत पूजिम भवेव इन बने नमा त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु सदा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या दैरङ्गमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव अयन माचा प्रसन्नियर्म मुद्या कलावापतन स्वभाव नरोमि अत्यं सकलन्तरस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि अच्युतं केशवं राम नाम नारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरे केशवं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Om Sai Ram. I urge all the listeners to read one chapter of the Sai Satcharithra daily and soak in Baba bliss. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.